watching the Potsy and Tino show.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Pots and Pans Network brings to you its tag team champions of the world. That's right, the Potsy and Tino show. He's Tino Gray. I'm Rob Potsy Pochak. Our theme song, as always, is brought to you by Adam's House Cats, called The Wrestling Song. It's available on iTunes for 99 cents. We want to thank the international champion, Roderick Strong, for his wonderful lead in to the show tonight. Super nice guy. You'd never believe it when you saw the guy with his undisputed kingdom friends with him, but live and in person, he was a joy and a pleasant person to be around. Tino, how are you, sir?
I'm good. Hey, Michael. My mom is doing much better. So I was, and I don't think anybody was in here to see that fucking intro. Shit, but it was cool. But yeah. So my mom was in a car wreck last Saturday, like Rob told you, and he's like, "You want me to?" I'm like, "Nah, I'll tell it when I get back."
Tino,
So
are you telling me you want me to play the intro one more time because we got people in the audience now?
it's only Michael Turner. We'll play it again in a minute when we get some more people.
Mine
But
says there's at least 2 watching now. So, do you want me to play it again?
now I wanted you to shut the fuck up. So Michael asked me a question. I was trying to tell him.
Okay. Well, you shut the fuck up.
So sorry, excuse me. So yeah, she was in a accident. She broke her collarbone. She broke 5 ribs and she punctured her lung. So that's where I was last week dealing with that. Now, so that happened Saturday. They got her to the bigger hospital on Sunday. She's in Fayetteville right now, and then Wednesday they moved her to the rehab part of the hospital. So now she's doing better. They're getting her walking her around. The occupational therapist, because she broke her collarbone, they're not doing surgery, I guess, because the way it was broken, but she's still gonna have to wear that sling for a bit. So the occupational therapists have they're there to teach her how to do the pretty much get dressed, take care of herself with one arm. That she's probably going to have to be. She gets out of the hospital and she'll come stay with us. So much better. I'm in a much better place than I was. Like I think when I called Rob that Saturday, I was like, I couldn't think straight, and probably for the next few days, he would check in on me, and I was still kind of like, I was all out of sorts. So,
Well, I mean,
thank you for asking.
I even checked in on you this weekend. You know, like Saturday, I checked in on you. Sunday, I checked in on you. You know, like our parents aren't spring chickens, so we gotta.
No,
we
mine.
gotta,
She's about to be 73. I
well,
know yours is.
My mom turned 75 in April, so and Saturday night, my parents actually celebrated their 55th wedding anniversary.
That is amazing.
It is, considering I couldn't even get 4 years out of mine, but you know.
Thank you, Michael Turner. 4 years? I thought it was longer than that. That was it.
No, we were together, I think, 8 total years.
I think that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, it seemed like you guys are.
But yeah, we were only married for 4, I think. I don't even remember at this point. I think it was 2008, 2012. So yeah, you know, when you hear my parents and like, you know, the joke was we were out at dinner on Saturday night, and I'll let you get back to the what's up with you in just a second. But you know, we started this.
Mom thing.
Or at least I jumped in on this one. But you know, like we were sitting at our little favorite like Japanese restaurant, you know, like getting teppanyaki and you know, hibachi chicken and whatever. And the woman who works at the place, who knows us really well, she sits there and she comes up and she goes, "How long you been together?" and my mom's like 55 years and I haven't killed him yet, you know, and the woman starts laughing and I'm like, yeah, that's tonight, you know. And everybody starts laughing when I said that she was going to kill him that night. um he's still alive, just so everybody knows. You know, Monday evening, he's still here. So she didn't do it. Um, but my dad now is, you know, he's 77. My mom is 75, and
Wow.
and they've been married now for 55 years. Now, granted, I won't go into details, but their marriage isn't like your, you know, two people that actually are half and half in anything anymore, because my dad suffered a stroke about 30 years ago that kind of made my mom his caretaker more than anything else. But
But I think that makes it even more special, even better, dude, because she could have said see ya, but she stuck with him. You know what I'm saying? So that's awesome.
well, you know, I agree with you. I also think that it was mutually beneficial. You know, she got his retirement. Uh, so she got to go on her cruises and force him onto the boat. You know, so I mean, there's a lot that goes on with that. But you know, like it just goes to show you, when your beliefs are as strong as they are, you don't give up on something. And knowing that my dad was never going to be the same person again, my mom never gave up being with him or anything else. And you know, like I'm not gonna say she's in the best spot she could have been. You know, I mean, she could have married a millionaire who, you know, wrote like romance novels or some shit. I don't know, um, but you know, for the most part, they uh, I want to say it was mutually beneficial. You know, while she beats the shit out of him. So
That no, that's the vow. Shut up. That's the vows, though. You know, till death do us part. You know what I mean?
It, and it is, and you know, like it makes me sit there and look at the vows I had, you know, in 2008 and through 2012, and I sit there and I'm like, my parents made it all the way through all that and are still technically together. You know, now my dad is rapidly declining, and you know, like we all have our own feelings about that, whatever the case might be, but he's still here. She's, you know, she gets to live uh the housewife lifestyle. And my mom works, by the way, folks. She's been at the same restaurant for over 25 years as a
Angus Barn,
cocktail
baby.
as a cocktail waitress. So I wasn't going to say where it was, but
Sorry.
you know, no. It's fine. I don't think anybody cares. I don't think my mom would care if you say. I mean, if you go to the Angus Barn, go ahead and ask for Kathy P. She's in the cocktail lounge, and she will take the most amazing care of you.
I
Um,
keep forgetting she works there. I'm like, I need to go there. So talk to Kathy P.
so like my mom breaks all the rules. she sits there and makes sure that you get the best possible experience from a restaurant that claims that you get the best possible experience. So but she really does that. And you know, like, that's the other thing we joke about is that my mom, I won't say that she says that they're trying to fire her. They're not trying to fire her. They're just trying to hope that she finally retires. Um,
Get her out of here.
no, not even get her out of here. It's like they, like, if she wanted to stop being a cocktail waitress, they would find something for her to do. She might be the person that stands outside and lights people's smokes for them. I don't know. But like, they would find something for my mom just so they could be like, well, she's been here 38 years at this point, you know, like, what
That is that is that is amazing too, though.
dude, think about that. Like, um you know, I was out at one of my favorite places, Ruckus, earlier tonight, and I was talking to an old gentleman. He's 73 years old. His name's Joe, and he was telling me that he was with IBM for 25 years, and he was with Lenovo for another 5 before he retired, right? So 30 total years working for the computer division. And I asked him specifically because my dad worked at IBM for 27 years. I said, did you get the Rolex? And he held his hand up like this. And I was like, can I see it? And he took it off and he handed it to me. And I'm holding a Rolex. The damn thing's worth probably 10 grand. And I'm sitting there and he goes, that's a special edition Pepsi Rolex that they put out the year that I got my 25th anniversary. And like my dad just got like a crushed, gold finish Rolex for his 25th anniversary. So, but that's what IBM used to do. They used to give you a Rolex if you made it 25 years.
The Pepsi, that sounds interesting. What does that mean? The Pepsi edition.
So it had blue on the top, it had red on the bottom, and then the rest of it's just
Gotcha.
a really nice watch. But it was done as like a special edition, probably for like the 75th or 100th year anniversary of Pepsi. And when people from IBM were given the option of, do you want the regular Rolex or do you want this Rolex that year? Like, he was able to take that one. But it was really cool because like I've always talked to him. And then today I found out that, like just like my dad, he put in over 25 years at IBM. And it was like, we're just sitting there like bullshitting about things. So it was pretty crazy. Tino, I want you to talk about what else was up with you this past week. I know what was up last night, but I want you to talk about it. So,
I just, like I said, the between, like I said, going back and forth to Fayetteville to see my mom probably up until Wednesday. Once they put her in the rehab, I have an aunt that lives up there, and because she's in Fayetteville, that's close to her church where she preaches, so she's got church people going in and out. So I felt comfortable, and one of her people that goes to her church actually works at the hospital that she's in. So I'm like, all right, and they're like, go do what you need to do, because I'd pushed back everything. I'd meetings, all the stuff I needed to get done, and my boss was cool with it. But I'm like, once she was settled and I knew she was all right, I knew she had somebody to take care of her. I'm like, well, let me come back, because I knew I had stuff to do. And you guys, and they said, if she's got it, if we need you, we'll give you a call. Obviously, I call her and check on her every day anyway. But so that released me, because then Friday night I had a gig in Woody's and Morrisville. That was 9:30 to 12:30. That fucking rock. That was a good show. That was an awesome show.
you forgot to tell
Saturday,
me that we're doing that show because I had to come out for that.
I told you, man. I told you the week
It's a
before. I
couple weeks
reminded
ago, but
you,
you didn't remind me.
and then
Fine.
yeah,
I'm old,
whatever.
man. I forget
And
shit.
then Saturday, I got up. I had to teach my class. Nicole had run out to do. She had to go. She had an appointment she had to go to. She came back in time for me to say, okay, I gotta go, because I had to drive to Hickory. Did my show in Hickory, which was another good show. Then came back. I got home probably about 1:30. Really saw her for a few minutes, and I was like exhausted. So I took a nap. Had to set the alarm, because if I hadn't set that alarm, I wouldn't have made it last night. Set the alarm, got to your place, and then we went to the Durham Convention Center, because we went to the DPW show, and I had a blast. The show was good. The matches were good, but like I said, I think everything at the end of the night's what made the whole thing for me. The matches were good. I enjoyed the matches. I enjoyed it, but at the end of the night. So first of all, shout
Well,
out to hold on,
well,
hold on. Let me finish. Let me say this. Shout out to Jason Ingram, because I mean, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have gone. So he got that, and we had the VIP passes. So this, which enabled us to do what we did.
well, and it's funny you say that, because the first thing I was going to say, I wasn't just going to shout him out. I was going to be like, you said that everything that happened after the matches was the most fun part, but part of the most fun part was actually getting to sit in line waiting for the doors to open with our friends Jason, his dad, and his buddy that he had last night.
Oh yeah,
Because Jason, and you guys have seen Jason, he's been on the show before. Jason
let's
Ingram.
Blitzball champ.
Blitzball champ.
Did,
He
did
does
you
the
did you did you
Galgo show. What?
did you send him a link? Try to get
I
him on.
You know what? I did not tonight. I didn't think about it because I was too busy trying to get our new intro.
All right. Well, we'll talk about that later. Finish your train of thought.
Uh, and the outro, by the way. So be prepared. But
I already I know what it is. So
well, I
y'all
know
be prepared.
you know what it is.
All right.
But
So
everybody's gonna watch the end tonight because it's special and it's important. But you know, like it was. I thought it was really cool for us to, get together and we gave Jason a Potsy and Tino show shirt. He wore it all night. He actually said he was. Otherwise it was going to be a Stardom shirt. We already know that, right? Like it was going to be Stardom.
I don't
But
think that shirt had on with Stardom, but it was another Japan-based wrestling thing.
of course it was. But
Yeah.
my point was is that I told Jason when he said, "Oh, do you guys want to go and sit front row and sit VIP and blah blah blah?" And we were like, "Yeah, what do we owe you?" And he goes, "Don't even worry about it." I'm like, "No, we're gonna do something special for you now." So we went out, we got him a Potsy and Tino show shirt, but I told him he had to wear it last night, and he was like, "Oh, I'll wear it," and
The
he
look
did.
the
He
look on
did.
his face though when you handed it to him, you're like, you got to wear it now. He's like,
Well, he was like, how do I go in the men's room and fucking put the shirt on, like because Tino's wearing a Potsy and Tino show shirt, I'm wearing a Potsy and Tino show shirt, and it's like Jason, you got to put the shirt on, and he's like,
yeah.
I did say I'd do it, okay. So he goes in and he comes back out and he's like, I kind of love it, and it's like, yeah, you should because it's fucking awesome. Anyways, like you said, we went to that event. And go ahead, Tino. Tell them about your favorite part.
I was going to say, so at this show, so DPW is an indie show. They have fantastic. I think Bojack's one of my favorites. And the champion,
Tank Tankman,
yeah,
yeah.
Tankman Heat. So those are two of my favorites. I have to admit, it was the second time I got to see Lady Frost in person, which was also cool.
Well,
And just
and Vert Vixen. Don't forget
Vert
Vert Vixen.
Vixen, yeah, Vert Vixen. So a lot of these, so the second time being there, so you get to see them. It's kind of like cool getting to see them and getting to actually talk to them and interact with them, right? So, but also on this show, they try to sprinkle in some names. So on this show, they had the
Some
motor,
names.
huh?
Some names.
I said some names. Will you let me finish? You want to tell the story? You tell it.
No. It's all you. It's all you. I'm sorry. I apologize.
So they have some names, and this time they had Roderick Strong, which was awesome, and they had the Motor City Machine Guns, who were okay. So Motor City Machine Guns, that's what we call them. They always seemed cool on TV, and they were cool. We walked up to them after the show. Rob's like, "Hey, can you do a spot for us?" And they're like, "Yeah." So we had to. I think we paid 20 for them to sign our thing, and then they did, and then we had to pay for them to do the spot, which was they were cool about it though. They let us get in the spot with them, and they what they did was awesome. And so that was awesome. And then we went to meet Roddy Strong, whose line was absolutely ridiculous. But it was worth it. He stayed there. He took pictures. He signed autographs. He joked with you, and like Rob said, so you see him, and you see the character on TV, right? So you like, okay, and then when you meet him in person, like, he's nothing like what he is on TV, which it makes sense sometimes. It's cool sometimes, but he was actually cool. So I went up and I was like, dude, do you guys take? Because I was noticing that people were handing him cash, and these other guys had like Venmo. Some of them had QR codes. Some of them had different ways. And you can pay cash. So we were waiting in line. I said, well, let me go ask, I guess, his handler now before we get up there. And then we're like out of luck. So he said, no, we do Cash App and all that stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. So we get up to Roddy, right? And he's standing there, he's so cool, he's shaking hands, he's smiles and like, hey. Rob's like, do you do podcast spots? And he kind of stopped and looked. And I was like, yeah, and how much will that cost us? Right. So I was looking, I'm like, oh, it's gonna cost us an arm and leg. He goes, I don't know. Because I guess I didn't realize he was saying it
What
was
did
his
you
first
say?
he was his first indie show.
Yeah.
So he didn't know, what to do. So he's like, I won't charge you anything. I'm like, fucking for real? And so then Robert told him, then I felt bad. I'm like, I gotta buy something. I said, I'll buy it. Let me at least buy a t-shirt. You can do the spot for us for free. He goes, all right. I'm like, do you have, 3X? I don't know what he said. No, the biggest I have is a 1X. I'm like, damn. I saw a buy it. And Rob goes, well, get me a 2X. I'm like, bitch, he just said.
I was so enamored by him, I wasn't even at that point. In my own defense, because just like 30 seconds before that, I was telling Tino that I saw Roderick Strong in his final Ring of Honor match, and
Yes.
when I say Ring of Honor, I mean real Ring of Honor, not this,
Yeah.
not this Tony Khan bullshit Ring of Honor. And I asked Roddy about it, and he goes, yeah, it was in like the Cabrera Center, and I'm like, yes, I was there for that. And then you were signed to WWE, and it was, and I'm just sitting there like, and then he's like, yeah, I won't charge you guys anything. He sees our shirts, he sees that we're wearing Potsy and Tino gear, and I sit there and I go, well, I'll take a 2X then, and he's like, and Tino's like, you dumbass. And I'm like, fuck.
I'm looking at you like, really, dude? You just
I was hoping maybe he could just like sew two of them together, like.
And so I was like, all right. So I bought an autograph picture because I felt bad. So it was $15. And so we were sitting there and we were in line. I'm like, what would be cool? I'm like, if he would yell our names. I'm like, and Bob was like, well, it kind of be hard to yell both. I said, I don't even care if he just yelled one of them. I don't care if he went Potsy and Tino. I just want him to yell, right? So we got up there to him and we're like, it'd be cool. It'd be funny as hell if you could yell, do the yelling bit. He goes, I
Well,
don't know if I can do it. And
all
we're
right.
like, okay. We're like, whatever. We'll take whatever you can give us. We'll just thank you for doing it for free. So go ahead, Rob.
I did sit there and go, is it possible if you could like yell our names like you like in character? And he's like it's kind of tough because there's two names, and
Yeah.
like, and I'm like, well, then just do whatever makes you feel comfortable, like whatever.
Yeah,
And
we were just like, thank you. Because we were like, dude's gonna do it for free. We're like, just thank, and he was gonna let us be in it with him. So we were like, fuck, just thank you.
And then we're like, can we get in there with you so that like, and so we could take the video, and he's like, yeah, I'm cool with it, whatever, and but when he sat there, like,
because we weren't expecting him to do it. That's why if you look, we both popped.
Can I play it again now?
Yes. So remember, hold on. So remember, we're just expecting him to be like, hey, watch the Potsy and Tino show. We were not expecting him to yell. So watch, he does Potsy's name and I pop, and then he does my name and then I pop again. So it was just so watch it again.
And when Tino popped, I couldn't help but just be like, so here you go, everybody. Here's Roderick Strong in our intro for last night.
Gentlemen, you are watching the Potsy and Tino show.
So there you go. That was our brand new intro, and Roderick Strong, love him to death. I mean, I've always loved the guy. And Tino, last night, who he faced at DPW, half of that crowd was just, what was his name, Abu?
Yeah, I think so.
Like Abu, and everybody was chanting Abu, and I was chanting Roddy, and then Tino started chanting Roddy, and then finally, I just kept yelling, backbreaker, and finally he hit the backbreaker. He won the match.
Well, you knew he was going to hit it, even if you'd have yelled it or not. He was going to hit that backbreaker.
Yeah, but you know, even after we met him, I sat there and I said, Roddy, you know, like life, you know, been a fan of yours for a really long time. So the fact that like I'm sitting there screaming, and I even said to him, I was screaming backbreaker, and you nailed it, and you got the win. And he's like, hey man, thanks for being a fan. And I was like, yes, that's what made it awesome. The Motor City Machine Guns, when we met them,
Oh
one of
my God, they were so cool as well.
well, and here's the funny thing. They faced Maximum Male Models, and Tino
And
didn't
we,
mention them, you
I did
know, but
what?
you didn't mention them. That's who they faced. So that was the
I forgot.
other. So there were 5 major stars on the because I'm going to tell you that was the best match that Maximum Male Models have ever had, and they
And
even said it after the match. Go ahead.
he said we could have. He said we couldn't have done that shit in the Fed or something like that.
Yeah, we couldn't
And
have done
so
that. But
and so and I was going to stand in line, but their line was long too. But then I was noticing they weren't. They were just like making you pay to sign everything, and they weren't taking pictures. And I'm like, well, I'd rather get Roddy in Motor City anyway.
well, so here's what happened there, folks. Is that we were waiting at like the back of the line of
Oh,
the Maximum Male Models, and all of a sudden
Rob saw.
I noticed that Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin started walking up to a table, and nobody noticed them. And I sit there and I slap Tino and I go, dude, and he goes, oh yeah, and we just walked,
Jump out of line.
and we're the first people in line for the Motor City Machine Guns. And I mean, like they sat there, like Alex Shelley started asking. He's like, did you like the 6 card, the 6 match card? Did you like this? And I'm like, dude, it made sense. It like it spread things out. It gave you guys more time. Like you got to and he's like, yeah, we really felt the same way. And then of course Alex Shelley also at the end of the night came out and challenged Tankman at their Chicago show for the DPW World Title, and I said, hey, good luck winning that one. Is there any hints of where you guys are going? Because Alex Shelley was. Are you clicking something?
Yeah, sorry.
You are clicking something. You're actually clicking something too. That's even weirder. Yeah, you could hear it like it sounded like a popping sound.
Sorry.
but I, like I'm like, hey, is there anything that you can tell us about where you're planning on going? And he goes, I think it's already out there. So if I had to guess, I guess these guys are probably AEW bound.
Okay.
Just because like overall, when you look at it, like they're not spring chickens. I know Triple H would love to have them, but I don't think that they would immediately go to the main roster if they went to WWE. And I don't think that they feel like they should go to NXT at this point. Although working with Shawn Michaels might be something they want to do, but I don't know. The idea of Tankman versus Alex Shelley, though, is obviously going to sell out the Chicago arena that they're going to be in, or whatever venue they're going to be in. But Tino, where do you think would be the best spot for the Motor City Machine Guns right now?
I'd probably say AEW because their tag team is lacking, and I think they'd be good mentors to these tag teams coming up. But they could probably do the same at NXT. So I don't know. I don't know.
I just want to give a shout out to our friend Lauren, one L337. She's out at karaoke with our buddy Cliff. She said she can't hear, but she wanted us to have fun with our show tonight. So I want to thank her for that. But Tino, that's what I'm saying. Like obviously they're leaving TNA, so they're not going to be back in TNA. New Japan would be a great spot for them.
I think like you said though, they're like at the not like twilight of the career, but you know what I'm saying, they're kind of probably winding down. So I think they've been a tag team so long. I think that they would be good to mentor some of these younger tag teams on the psychology of tag team wrestling. I mean, I can see either AEW or WWE. Maybe not wrestling, but being kind of backstage and maybe what do you call them? On like a Brock Lesnar, if they did come out special attractions, but I would hire them mainly to work with the younger tag teams.
I mean, and see, that's where like I'm 100% with you. Where with the Motor City Machine Guns, I think that it would be amazing for them to work with the young talent of the WWE. I don't think that they can teach the AEW talent anything. They could just have great matches with them. So the question is, where are they in their career and where do they want to be? And that's what I struggle with when it comes to them is that I really
Thank
worry
you.
like there aren't many talents that want to sit there and work with the young talents and actually put them over when they get to a certain spot. They want to be in that top spot, but Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin have both been TNA world champion, like singles champion. They've been multi-time tag team champions, but I still feel like they probably think that AEW is going to be the better spot for them. And I haven't looked it up online. So with Alex Shelley giving us the hint that they've kind of already like put it out there of where they're planning on going, someone else can look it up. I just that's kind of how I felt about it. Am I
Yeah.
wrong?
No.
So
No.
I would love for them to work with like Tony D'Angelo and what's his face his
Oh, the underboss.
yeah
Stacks, Channing
Stat.
Stacks, Tatum.
I would love, yeah, Lorenzo. I would love for him to
I
love for
said
them.
Channing. I said Channing Stacks. Lorenzo Stacks. Lorenzo. Sorry, I got
Um,
Channing Tatum. Sorry.
well, I still think that they should have put Josh Briggs with Tiffany Stratton and made it Briggs and Stratton. But um, and obviously they don't do enough of the men and women tag team matches, so that really wouldn't have worked out. But there's I think that with all the young talent coming up in WWE, that they could do so much. Like you said, teaching the psychology of tag team wrestling to these up and comers who actually will never get the opportunity of being singles wrestlers until they actually truly understand the psychology of all of wrestling, right?
But I think that's a good Shawn Michaels thing because he was an awesome tag team wrestler. So I think him and NXT working, giving them heat, so he can give them both. He can give them the tag team and the singles side of it. So yeah, I think they need more. But I think they need to. I think WWE and I think AEW. I think we talked about it a lot. I think they need to. Man, bring that tag team wrestling back, man. I mean, singles are cool, man, but like I said, we were talking about it last night. Your our top favorite tag teams, man. I grew up, like I said, in down here on NWA and WCW. So she 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 went back there with him. I grew up on NWA and WCW, so I grew up with like the Road Warriors and the Steiner brothers and those. Yeah, so that Harlem Heat. So the tag team is what that was my favorite part of it. I loved my single wrestlers, like I love Dusty, but tag team, and always just got me excited.
Well, even Dusty though, he started out as a tag team
Yeah,
wrestler.
yeah.
And Ric Flair wanted to grow up being Ramblin' Ricky Rhodes because like he rode down the roads with Dusty, like he wanted to be Dusty's tag team partner. And then he ended up realizing, hey, if I start wearing Rolexes and pink robes, I can sit there and win the world title 16 times. Uh, but me, the Dudley Boys, the Rockers, the Hart Foundation, Demolition, like you're right. Like there was just something. The hell, the Mega Powers. there was just something about, and then let's
Oh, I
talk
can don't let me forget about Arn and Tully, the Brainbusters. Part of the
brain.
Four Horsemen, but Arn and Tully. That who FTR is kind of that's were their role models. That's who they kind of model themselves after.
Well, you got the brain busters, but let's not forget probably the craziest yet biggest names come together to become a tag team that actually really did something different. When you talk about July 6th, 1996,
Bitch,
and
don't you say rock and sock again. I will sock you in the mouth. I
I
told you
was
about that last night, that gimmick.
I was going to say the Outsiders.
Okay. I thought you were going to say it again. I'm like, don't say it again.
I was going to say the Outsiders. But like when I started watching WCW, man, you know who I actually liked, and this is one of those confessional things where I've gotta like be like, oh God, I can't believe I actually like these guys. But Scott Norton and Buff Bagwell, like like
I can
Vicious,
see that.
just
I can see that.
they were fucking awesome. And Scott Norton was a former IWGP World Champion, and Buff Bagwell was on his way up at the time. So Vicious and Delicious, before it became Buff and the Stuff, was great. That like you can't deny it. Hell, Sting and
Yeah.
Lex Luger. Like you can constantly look at great tag teams that
Oh,
that.
I forgot about Doom. I
Oh
mentioned Doom
yeah,
last night too.
Simmons and Butch Reed. Come on, I even knew about them.
Now, if you want to get into WWE, like I said, the WWE tag teams, I think I like a lot of them, but one of my favorites, and they got thrown together, but they ended up fucking working phenomenal together, was the APA.
Well, the APA is a great one, but let's also look further back, okay? Because you just said Doom, okay? At the
Yeah.
same time you had Doom, you had the British Bulldogs, you had the Killer Bees, you had you had real tag team wrestling back
Mhm.
then. I mean, you had
Don't you talk about putting people together. Can't forget about the Hollywood Blondes.
well, and they were the Hollywood Blondes before they separated.
That's what I'm
And
saying. They were when they were put together. That's what they formed. Steve Austin and Steve Austin and Pillman came together, that was the Hollywood Blondes, and
yeah.
that tag team, they were badass.
Hell, the gangsters in ECW. I mean, New Jack and what's his face?
Hmm.
Like, they were great.
FBI, that FBI. You had Storm.
Well, you're getting ready to start getting into stuff like the Nasty Boys and Public
I want.
Enemy. They all
I wasn't gonna put
they
them out
all
there.
sucked.
I want to get. I want that wasn't coming up here. Was it Storm and Justin? Oh, who was Just Incredible with? They were Just Incredible. That was a good tag team.
That was Lance Storm. That was the
Yeah,
well, you're gonna say that the Eliminators, Perry Saturn, and I don't even remember who the other guy was, but they were fucking awesome.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they were
I was
awesome.
gonna leave out because like Nasty Boys and no,
They
they didn't
sucked.
do anything for them. Yeah.
They sucked. They sucked so bad. I remember the nasty. So Bubba Ray Dudley or Bully Ray was sitting there talking at one point
Oh,
about
they
how
beat the shit out of them.
where the Nasty Boys came in and they were supposed to sit there and they
It,
kept going.
it wasn't. It wasn't nasty. It wasn't Nasty Boys. It was Public Enemy.
Was it Public Enemy?
Hmm.
I thought the
Because
Nasty Boys were. Oh wait, no,
mm,
it was the Nasty Boys were supposed to come in, and the Nasty Boys said we're not doing the job, so they didn't come in at all. And then the Public Enemy said we'll do it, but
but
Public
then they
Enemy
tried
then
to
they were
change
like,
it.
yeah, they were like we want to win the match, and the Dudley Boys had to beat the shit out of them. um, so yeah, lots of good shit back then, man. Like lots of really good and lots of great tag teams. I'm gonna say right now, Tino named his three favorite tag teams, and both of us put the Road Warriors in our top three. Um, and I don't see why we wouldn't. Like the Road Warriors. I mean, they still call it a Road Warriors pop, right? But
Mm-hmm.
uh, but like he put Harlem Heat. I put the Dudley Boys. And like I'm amazed we never got Harlem Heat versus the Dudley Boys, because they could have brought it together. They could have made it happen, and they just never did. Um, and I mean, like even today, like the Usos, the New Day, the Wyatt family, like there were like even when they were doing their tag team stuff, that shit was just incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about it. There's only been twice, Tino, only been twice that a tag team match has actually headlined WrestleMania. And I love the fact that they forget the first time it happened, which was fucking WrestleMania 1. Fucking WrestleMania 1, a tag team match actually headlined WrestleMania. But maybe they were trying to say that the tag team championships had never headlined WrestleMania, and that happened at WrestleMania 39
Mm-hmm.
when KO and Sammy beat the Usos, which made sense. Probably got the biggest pop that night easily. Um,
Probably.
and let's not forget that means that Sammy has headlined a WrestleMania. KO has headlined two. And I want to state, like one of the things that I did this week. I watched the WWE biography that came out this week, and I was shocked by it because it was Stone Cold's last match,
Hmm.
and and they started by talking about all of the stuff that was involved with the Stone Cold versus Rock match at WrestleMania 19, where Stone Cold's like, I'm working out with Kevin Nash, and all of a sudden, like, I go up to my room and my heartbeat's going at 180 beats a minute. And I think I'm just going to drop dead right here. And he just happened to have the door open on like the penthouse suite level. And one of the WWE workers just happened to be there. And he goes, I'm not doing so hot. And she goes, let's call 911. He goes to the hospital. And one of the things that I didn't even realize about this, Tino, is that Austin wasn't cleared medically to wrestle WrestleMania 19.
Mm-mm.
Like, he was cleared to leave the hospital, but he was not cleared to walk out and go out and put on a banger of a match with The Rock.
Yeah, I knew that 'cause I read it. Well, I read his book. That's what he said in his book.
I read his book too, but I didn't remember him saying he ever got cleared to go wrestle the match.
Mm-hmm.
I and but either way, hearing it again, and
Yep.
then like they talked about him going into the Hall of Fame, and of course, as they're at the Hall of Fame, everybody's chanting one more match," and Steve on stage that night in 2009 sat there and said, "I don't really see that happening," and that kind of like deflated everybody. But he said, but he constantly said if the stars aligned and it was in the right spot at the right time, he would go out and do it. And WrestleMania 38 in Dallas, Texas. He like Vince wanted a meeting. He took the meeting because you don't turn down the old man. I mean, you might now, but you didn't back then. Didn't turn down the meeting, and Vince said, "You started your career in Dallas. How about you end your career in Dallas? How about you actually come out for one more match?" And he goes, well, hell, son, that's a hell of a pitch, you know and then they're like, well, let's do it against someone that you actually want to work with. Let's do it with Kevin Owens. Let's do this. And dude, the whole episode of this biography is people like Triple H, The Undertaker. They didn't talk to Vince, but it's like Bruce Pritchard, all the top guys now. basically saying, if Austin said, I don't have it in me to do a match and I'm just going to give him a stunner and I'm just going to say 1, 2, 3, that would have been the end of WrestleMania that night. And it would have been fine because we got that big pop. We got that, but it would have been the shortest WrestleMania main event of all time. And then, of course, he got out there and KO sat there and said, I want to have a fight. And that's when Steve Austin actually said, get me a referee. Let's have this match. And that's when they knew it was on. They didn't know it was on the entire time before that. Everybody had gorilla position that I had messaged you about last night, which also included Seth Rollins. I didn't even realize Seth Rollins was there. But all of those people sitting at Gorilla were like, oh, shit. And when he took the suplex and everything, like Seth Rollins is like, why is he doing that? Like he doesn't need to do that. Like, and it's just like, hell, I'm just gonna go out there and do it, you know? And he said that the reason why he went out there and gave everything that he did was because his brother was sitting in the audience, sitting next to George Kittle of the San Francisco 49ers, by the way. They're both drinking beers and everything. And he did it because his brother, being his biggest supporter when he's been in pro wrestling for as long as he had never gotten in the ring with him. So he was like, I'm going to put on a show and then I'm going to bring my brother into the ring. Pretty fucking cool. You know, like, blows my mind. I'd never do that with my brother.
We're 45 minutes in and you still have not talked about what's up with you. So let's get, because you got some big news too there, sir.
Yeah, I'll say it like this. I started a job today.
Really?
Well, I was getting there. I want to explain it like this. So today was orientation, and the orientation really isn't anything to do with what I'm going to be doing in the job. So I'm still kind of anxious about all of it. But last night we get home from the wrestling event. I watched that episode of biography, thinking, okay, I can wind down and go up and go to sleep. Well, I wake up at 3:00 in the morning, man, and I can't go back to sleep. So I've been up since 3:00 in the morning, maybe with like 15 minutes here and there that I was actually sleeping during the night, because I definitely know I had a dream. Okay. And my dream kind of went like this. I'm sitting there in my dream and I keep asking somebody for help to do the job that I've been hired for. And all I keep getting back in response is, well, we hired you to do a job. We expect you to do the job. And I'm like, well, how do I do the job? And they're like, you got hired to do it. Figure it out. And the entire nightmare, if you will, is me sitting there like screaming at people of, just show me how to do the job. And that is where all my anxiety came from today. I didn't really have anxiety today because I knew today was just going to be orientation. And the orientation, unfortunately, is just explaining the role of like what the Department of Health and Human Services, where I now work, what it's about, not what you do. Right? So they just explained, this is what we deal with. And it's like, okay. And it was like 8 hours of that. Tomorrow, it's going to be 8 more hours of that. So I'm really not going to learn what I do until my boss and I get together on Thursday when I'm remote, sitting there typing on a keyboard going, what the hell do I do now? You know, like, so, and
It'll be fine.
Oh, I think it will. I think it will. But I got to get past that part because dude, I could not sleep last night. And I didn't feel anxious or anything. My heart rate wasn't up, nothing. I was just laying there, but my eyes, even though my eyes were closed, I was awake. And every so often I'd look at my watch and go, oh, half an hour went by. Oh, another half an hour went by. Oh, another half an hour. Like, it sucked. But when I got there and everything else, like I had to wait a little bit to get let in the building because I don't have a badge to get in. And I just realized that one of the phone numbers that called me, because I get tons of fucking robocalls. One of the calls that actually called in was like, hey, we want to set up a time for you to come in and get your badge. And I don't really need a badge because I'm not going to be in the office very often, but I should probably still get the badge at some point. But anyways, so yeah, so that happened. Obviously got some stuff coming up with the comics. Got this weekend I am going to be at Carolina Fear Fest. So I want everybody to know about that because I will be hosting 2 panels, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. And then apparently Monday is a holiday, so I'll be out of work on Friday and Monday because I requested Friday when I first started. So I'm going to be off for 4 days. 2 of those days will be the Carolina Fear Fest Memorial Day weekend at the Dorton Arena. But otherwise, Tino, not too much else other than all that stuff we already talked about. So I know you probably want to talk. Well, you know what? I don't know what you want to talk about. What do you want to talk about?
Last week was a blur. I really don't remember a lot of the wrestling last week, honestly, because I was dealing with mom. But
Well, apparently one Tiffany Stratton had her first wardrobe malfunction. And
mm,
uh, like a professional, she covered it up as well as she could. So good for her.
I didn't even see it. I mean, I
Uh,
saw the match, but I don't know where or what even it was.
there was a weird move where Belair picked her up like this, and I think dropped her like almost like a Liger bomb or something, and Tiffany just put her hand right in front of her lower extremities area.
Uh,
Um,
so
and
it wasn't boob. It was the bottom half. Okay,
it was
I thought a boob. I thought a boob popped out.
no, it was the bottom. But here's the thing that I find interesting about that is that she's a former gymnast, so she wears that like dark colored leotard and then wears her outfit. That way she's got like the Hooters girl legs. You know what I mean?
Might have been a hole that she knew there, but she covered it because they always they're the it could
Well,
have been a rip.
it
They
was just
probably put
blank. It was just blank because she was wearing her pink thong looking bikini bottom, and you know she put her hand in front, so she knew something was up. But I have a feeling it 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 was still that leotard, but nothing there in front of the leotard probably still allows people to see stuff. So, but I do want to point out that match between Bianca Belair and Tiffany Stratton, I want to see more between these two. Like, I've already told. Well, I said last week on the show, you weren't here. Obviously, you were dealing with your mom being in the hospital. I said last week that I really don't understand the booking of the Queen of the Ring. And I think you and I talked about it a little bit yesterday in the car ride down to the Durham Convention Center. But it would have been the perfect opportunity at the beginning of the tournament to reestablish Shayna Baszler as the Queen of Spades, right? I
yeah,
just
but
think,
then what? But then what? I don't think they have plans for Shayna. I agree
well,
with you, but I
but
don't think Shayna's kind of. I don't want to see, and I hate to say she's kind of old news, but they got all these newer people. Like they got Tiffany Stratton's coming up. They've got even Dakota Kai, like you were saying. But they got, you know what I'm saying?
well, and here you go with that. Like Tiffany Stratton lost Friday, so they're not going with the young.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I told you in the car, I think she should have gone over.
Absolutely. Now, I would have had it would have been hard for me to sit there and say, well, she's the favorite against Nia Jax on the SmackDown side, but I still would have liked to have seen that match because putting Bianca and the thought of Jade in the match together kind of to me, you said it's too early for that. Other people said it's too early for that. That's a WrestleMania main event when they finally get Jade to the level that she needs to be, right?
And they need to go ahead and turn Bianca heel and have her turn on Jade, which I think is what's going to happen.
I don't know which one's going to turn on which.
No, I don't think. See, and I was watching something because you always talk about your busted open. So I was watching something on YouTube, and they made a good point. They're like they planted the seeds for her heel turn because remember a couple of weeks ago when Bailey was in the room and Bianca was there, and she was kind of like, "And I'll never forgive you, damage control, and I finally got rid of you," and blah 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 blah, and Bailey walked away. They're saying that's planting that because she still hadn't let go of that whole Bailey thing. So that she could be jelly, and then so she could turn on Jade, thinking, well, here's Jade, the new flavor of the week, and they're pushing her, stealing my limelight, kind of thing. They're trying to say kind of like when they compared it to when Drew got jealous. He started out with the Jey Uso thing, and like he couldn't let go of what Jade did with him while he was in while he was in the bloodline, and that kind of put him down that dark path. They're kind of saying that Bianca, and I think out of the two of them, Bianca will probably turn before Jade will.
Now, I hadn't heard anything like that, but I almost think that now with Jade getting knocked out of the tournament by disqualification against Nia, I could see her actually turning on Bianca. I think
But
that
but I don't think she's been here long enough. You know how they say you make a hot
I just
baby
don't
face
think
to make a hot heel.
I just don't think either of them are going to turn on each other yet. I think that's
Oh, I'm not.
why.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not saying yet. Yeah,
Yeah, but I think that that's why you obviously see only one of them in the next round. But I would have preferred if both of them got knocked out. That way they could console each other and actually focus specifically on that women's tag team championship, which hasn't been utilized at all.
somebody has to be in there to be believable that they could take Nia Jax. So it had to be Bianca or Jade.
Well, you say Bianca or Jade, but obviously when it comes to the finals, I don't think Io Sky nor Taya Valkyria, whatever her name is, Valkyria. I don't think either of them are believable against either of the other two.
But I was looking. That's another thing. I was looking at that bracket, and it looked like the Raw side had a bracket, and the SmackDown side had a bracket, but they didn't interconnect. So are we going to have a king and queen and a ring for each brand because it didn't
No,
interconnect?
no, no,
You know what I'm
no,
saying?
no. So like tonight you have Lyra Valkyria versus Io Sky. Friday night you have Bianca Belair versus Nia Jax, and then Saturday at the pay-per-view you've got the winners going against each other. And that
I
that
hate to say it, they might push Valkyria.
they might, but I think the best possible move for the Queen of the Ring, believe it or not, and I hate saying this right now, is Nia Jax. Queen Nia, oh, I could just see her bringing out like eating grapes and shit and being like stepping on people's
Well,
heads.
I could see probably Queen Nine now because they're going to keep her away from that title for a while. So they probably give her that uh, to have because I don't see her winning a title for a while.
So what do you got in the men's? Because tonight there's Jey Uso versus Gunther, probably main event for tonight's Raw. And then Friday you have Randy Orton versus Tama Tonga. So
I
so
think I hate to say it, but I think because they're trying to push this bloodline and that's so hot, I think Tama Tonga will win, and I almost think Jay will win so they can start that cross to get that started for when Roman comes back. So it'll be
see
Jay. I think it's gonna be Jay and Tama.
I so I disagree, and here's why. Like I love the idea of Jey Uso being only the second guy to beat Gunther because Jey Uso needs those wins right now. You can't keep calling someone main event and then not have him win main events, right? Like we talked about that. So I love the idea of him beating Gunther and being only the second guy to pin Gunther. I also kind of see the shenanigans of the bloodline causing Jey Uso to lose to Gunther, but then the shenanigans of the bloodline working against Tama Tonga and Kevin Owens returning, Jey Uso helping, and before you know it, Randy Orton actually goes over, and then you have Gunther versus Randy Orton, and then Gunther, I think, becomes your king of the ring. I could see both of those scenarios.
I think because I think this bloodline. I don't think the bloodline storyline, while it's good, I don't think it's as strong as it was when Roman was in it. So that's why I think that the Jay versus Tama Tonga will keep that punch, because eventually Roman's going to come back, and eventually Roman's going to have to build a new bloodline. So I think planting the seeds. I mean, you might be right. I'm still going to stick with Tama and Jay.
Okay. I mean, like I said, I could see either and be happy with both.
Mm-hmm.
And very rarely in WWE do I say you have four guys going against each other, and I could see either scenario. The only thing I can't see is Tama Tonga versus Gunther. And I don't want to see, well, I'd be okay with Randy Orton versus Jey Uso because Randy Orton actually has some old heat with Jey Uso. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
So either one of those scenarios.
Because if you think back too, and like I said, I just think they're getting better with planting seeds and continuity. Because if you think back, remember when the Bloodline was on Raw, and they went out, and Heyman and Jay had that moment, had that look. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking they're planting seeds. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's gonna be Jay and Tama.
I just think that a seed is one thing. I think that actually having them have a match already kind of.
But that plant, yeah, but I guess that plants that seed for them to win, and that leads on to the bigger
Well, who wins?
picture.
Do you have Tama Tonga win, and all of a sudden he's actually in a higher position than Solo because he's the king of the ring? See,
I almost think, wow, because we know Roman is part time. Why can't Roman come out and interfere in that match, or you come back and say, "Hey, I am still the tribal chief," or they fuck around and play his music to distract. You know, he can still play a part in it. I don't know. There's a
well,
lot that can happen.
because his music is so slow that nobody even know it was playing until all of a sudden someone's like you'd have to wait for that part before.
No, that big thing that comes out at first, it'll stop a match, because remember, it's big at first, dun dun, and then it comes into the slow song. So
No,
that big,
I'm with you, but I think that they know that they have to slow build this, so I'm thinking SummerSlam is when Roman comes back.
yeah.
Uh, and I don't think we see him before that. And I
Well,
think
even the
that,
Rock.
well, again, I think that they and sorry, but I think they tease this Bloodline 2 versus Bloodline 1, and they just don't get there until it starts at SummerSlam. And I could see where that becomes like Roman has to show up every other week for a while. And then you get Uso, and you get this, and you get this, and you get, like, and then you
But when
find
did they start? If
out.
you but in order to slow build it, SummerSlam is August, but this is almost June. So they've got it. I understand you slow build, but they got to
That's
get
12.
on it.
That's 12 more weeks.
I know,
13.
but all right, but then you complain about them rushing things. So if they want to start the slow build and start in that, they probably would want to start about 12 weeks out instead of starting 4 weeks out.
I don't
You know
know.
what I mean?
I don't know. And again, so once again, I'll say I'm okay if it's Gunther versus Randy. I'm okay if it's Tama versus Jay. I just think Tama versus Jay. I don't Jay going over there unless it's going to start causing a little bit of tension between Tama and and Solo. Like, I can't believe.
Because wasn't it? But wasn't it when he? Because he just had a match for the title. Who came and cost him?
Who did?
One it was it Solo or somebody came in and distracted him. Wasn't it Solo or with? I have to go back and watch. It was one of the Bloodlines came over there and distracted him again and made him lose the the
Versus
title.
Damian Priest?
No, it wasn't Damon.
But
One of he
that's
came out. He came out after.
no, Damian Priest versus Jay was his last title match at
Yeah,
Backlash.
yeah. So one of the Bloodlines came out.
No, it was Judgment Day, guys.
Okay.
It was JD McDonough and Finn. They both came out, and that started like the Damian Priest pushing McDonough thing around.
I could have
Anyways,
sworn. Yeah, go ahead.
anyways, we got we got
You all
it's
right?
yeah. I'm literally trying to think about Monday Night Raw last week, and I'm like Lyra Valkyria won her match, but it kind of looked like Damage Control kind of prevented or wanted to prevent it, and it didn't work because Becky Lynch came out. And that was kind of throwing me off because I was trying to remember the occurring events as they happened.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this weekend's pay-per-view. I like I told you, I'll be at Fear Fest, so I don't like because it's not even in the country again. It's in Saudi Arabia. It's probably gonna be 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So I don't know when I'll actually get to watch it.
I'm trying to pull up the card, so that's something I can't remember
Yeah.
what all of them.
Well, obviously the two finals matches are going to be announced this week as they actually get through those situations. Solo Sikoa wearing that red jacket this week. I joked on Twitter that I gave him my keys and I thought he tried to steal my car because I thought he was the valet. Dude, it's hilarious.
To you,
Valets always wear the red jacket. Tell me I'm wrong.
you're not wrong. It's just not funny.
Oh.
That's like you last night trying to make jokes. I'm like,
Yeah, you were so tired. You were like, no. Normally, like one of them will pop you, and then like last night, you're just like, no.
because everything you said was stupid. I'm like, no, that's
There were a couple that I said, and like the one where I sat there and I yelled something, and then the rest of the people down the aisle started screaming it and got the chant, and I was like, see, I started that, and you're like, shut up. That's when I knew you were just like cranky. So did you hear about Eddie Kingston?
yeah, he got hurt.
He didn't
And I
just
don't know how did he get hurt? I heard, and we kind of talked about it. I don't know. Was it a move? What hurt him?
in a New Japan match, so not even in an AEW match. He got his leg broken.
Ooh.
So he's going to be out for quite a while. And because of that, the Anarchy in the Ring match had a new competitor announced for it.
Yeah, it made no sense to me.
The guy with a broken foot, Darby Allin.
Like I said, it makes no sense to me.
Well, because they know Darby Allin will sit there and just throw himself into the fire. Like not even a fake fire or a statement of fire. He's literally willing to throw himself into a fire.
Well, he's willing to throw himself through a couple panes of glass.
Well,
Really?
exactly. That's my point. Is that Tony Khan realizes, hey, this guy could be seriously hurt be told you can never wrestle again, and Darby Allin's going to be like, "Put me out there, coach. I can do it."
Oh yeah, watch this. Hold my beer.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, hold my Red Bull because he doesn't look like the type of guy that drinks beer. Because he'd weigh 165 pounds instead of 140 if he actually had beer.
Yeah. Hold, hold my White Claw.
Yeah. Oh, hold my Bud Light next. The zero carb beer. Uh, um, I don't even know what to say about all this stuff.
I do want to talk about what we saw Friday
Okay.
on SmackDown with concerning the Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul, the
Oh
title for
yeah,
title.
yeah.
And I
Okay.
talked we kind of talked about this. We kind of talked about this because remember I was like, yeah, that'd be cool because I saw that they are getting ready to set up LA Knight for that
Yeah.
for that title. But I was gonna say, if Cody had that title, how is it going to work? That's I was like, how is it going to work? And how are they going to get out of it? Well, Friday night they answered our question because apparently he brought his, as Wade called them, broccoli head. He said they had broccoli hairdos and the lawyer, and so he said, I never agreed to this match. We're only putting up your title instead of my title. I'm like, all right, that's how they got out of it.
You know what's funny about that entire statement is he's the one that said title for title. Like literally last week he said title for title, US title for the undisputed title. And then this week he's sitting there going, I never said that my title was on the line. It's like, bitch, you
Because
actually
I
did
think
say.
creative realized they wrote themselves into a corner.
I think he accidentally said it live on TV. And
Uh,
they had to unbook themselves out of a corner that he put them into.
okay.
Um, so to your point, I agree with you. I just think that like it wasn't them that said, "Oh, we'll do title for title." I think I think in the moment he sat there and said that, because he was probably given talking points and not, and didn't realize the extent of what he was saying and where it would go. Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So,
That makes better sense. Okay, yeah, he might have gotten carried away.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Another point I want to make. So when Randy came back, and I was wrong, I thought that he would, probably just use the RKO on special occasions. This motherfucker, like on Friday, is still doing these bitches out of nowhere. When that bitch went to bounce off the rope, and Randy said, "Nope, come here."
Um, so let's talk about that. Obviously, like the Carmelo match, Carmelo sitting there now getting a bit of an edge on him, sitting there talking about how like uh he was the number one draft pick and how that means more than someone like a 14-time world heavyweight champion like Randy Orton. Obviously is making Carmelo got that little bit of a twinge of heel. Uh, hell, it's more than that. He's straight up heel, but
No,
he's
when he got here, he's Hill. He's that
yeah,
cocky Hill.
yeah, and he's cocky because he had gotten to that point. Now all of a sudden he loses. I think you're gonna have before you get Logan Paul versus uh LA Knight. I think you're gonna have LA Knight versus Carmelo because the two of them have been jaw jacking back and forth too. So I would think that you might actually see that set up for this.
A three-way, maybe.
No. I think that SummerSlam you have like if you're gonna hold it off till SummerSlam, it's got to be Logan Paul versus LA Knight. If you do it at Money in the Bank, you could do a three-way, but I almost think that you put Carmelo in the Money in the Bank and you give Logan Paul versus LA Knight top billing. of what's
Is it
going to be like the main event.
did Carmella who fought Tama Tonga? Who did Tama Tonga beat to get in? I don't remember.
LA
Is
Knight.
it he beat LA Knight?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna be real with you for a minute. And if wrestling was real, if I'm looking and I see Tama Tonga in the back room and he's talking like the Tasmanian, I'm not getting in the ring with his crazy ass. I'm like, no, you win. You got it. It's you. What was he doing? He's pacing back and forth. What the
I
fuck
don't
was he doing?
I don't know. And
I'd be like,
unfortunately I did,
I'd be like, no, thank you. I want no parts of that.
but I also didn't watch enough of him overseas for me to sit there and go, is that what he did?
That's true too, but because I mean, it was just crazy. He was walking back and forth, and then Solo says something to him, like, "You get him." I'm like, the fuck is wrong with this dude?
Yeah, I'm right there with you on that one. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, did I miss something? Like, this guy was a former world champion and like the head of the Bullet Club, right?
Because at first I thought, like, I thought that my TV just like was the sound was off. What the fuck was that?
No, no,
Because I wasn't watching it, and I
that was
went back and
I
rewound it.
did was calling him the Tasmanian Devil actually makes me laugh. The Tamanagian Devil.
Because I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with him?
Yeah, that was horrible, man. Let's look at let's look at the chat real quick. We got Michael Turner saying, "Hold my red Kool-Aid." He then said, "I said it once and I'll say it again. Logan Paul in the WWE. No, I disagree, Michael. Hell, why can't Randy be king of the?" Okay, so I'm going to answer the first one, then I'm going to answer the second one. Tino, you can chime in, you can agree, you can disagree, you can do whatever. When it comes to Logan Paul in the WWE, this dude has it. He has it. Uh, like the fact that he doesn't have a week to week, you wrestle every week contract with WWE, that's the only downside to this guy. But at the same time, we wouldn't want to see him every week in the ring. So seeing him in these high profile matchups where he is bringing eyes to the product on a regular basis, considering his social media status, and then the fact that he actually does bring, I mean, as the Street Profits would say, he brings the smoke every week that he is there. Am I wrong, Tino? Tino?
He's definitely in. I'm thinking he's
Oh,
definitely, yeah. I can see them wanting to bring his brand in because yes, they put more eyes on um his matches are very coordinated. You know what I'm saying? They're very, I'm sure they practice those
his,
religiously.
his matches are probably more choreographed and rehearsed than others. However, I don't think that's going to be the case when he gets in the ring with Cody Rhodes. I think that Cody Rhodes is going to be like, I'm going to call it in the ring, just like I always do. And I will either bring you to my level or I will expose you. And I think that that is something that needs to happen with him. I think that um, that will really show where he is. But I do think no matter what, he's always practicing with somebody.
Yeah,
So he's already
but
told.
but I agree with
Already,
you. I want to see him, like you said, like you just said, not practice, not practice. Just let Cody call it in the ring and see what you got.
yeah, I think it's a sink or swim moment for Logan Paul.
So yeah, I
Uh,
agree with that.
now, Michael, to your second point, why can't Randy Orton be the king of the ring? Randy doesn't need it.
No, he's done everything,
Randy's a 14-time world heavyweight champion. He needs
and
no.
I think he's a Grand Slam winner too. I think he's
Um,
won all the titles, hasn't he? He won the Intercontinental. He's been U.S. and he's
has
won the
he?
tag. Has he been U.S.? I know he's been on Intercontinental. I don't know if he's been U.S. Remember, that's the first belt he won was the IC belt.
Yes, I do remember that because that's the one that he put up against Mick Foley.
He might not. Yeah, he might not have been U.S. He might not be Grand Slam.
But he is a former tag team champion, so he's won
Yes.
4 titles. So I mean, technically, that would make him a Grand Slam champion, just not the Grand Slam of the singles titles.
Yeah.
Um, but he doesn't need it, and
No.
in fact, the idea of King of the Ring, what that's going to do is, let's say Gunther wins it, right? That's going to allow Gunther to force Ludwig Kaiser to walk down to the ring with his crown in his hands every time Gunther goes down to the ring. And it's going to be an awesome sight when he sits there and he says, "Give me my crown." And, like Ludwig
That
has it on his head every week.
or
Like,
Jay wins King of the Ring, and he can say, "I'm the head of the table." That's why I'm saying it can work either way.
well, and so again, I look back and I go, okay, if Jay is going to beat Gunther, I think that Jay beating Gunther is more important than Jay winning the King of the Ring. I think that match by itself is a higher profile because Gunther's only lost one match by pinfall or submission in WWE on the main roster so far.
While I
And
agree with you, while I agree with that point, again, I'm telling you that they're going to use this to continue that bloodline. If Jay Uso wins that King of the Ring, that'll continue that bloodline.
well,
I'm
and again,
telling you.
I already told you I'm okay with that.
Mhm.
I think that if you have Gunther lose, Jay has to win the King of the Ring. Like, if Gunther's going to lose the King of the Ring tournament, like, and it's a clean victory for Jay Uso, Jay has to win that, which means
Because that
hold on, which means maybe Jimmy Uso comes back during the finals against Tama Tonga.
And I don't think it'll hurt Gunther because Gunther's getting ready to win the world title. You know what I'm saying? He's going to win the world title. So I think he'll be okay. He didn't lose in 366 or ever 666 days. I think two losses in what was that, almost 2 years, a little over 2 years. He'll be all right.
Well, except the one thing that hasn't been debunked yet that works in the favor of Gunther winning the King of the Ring is that Gunther said after he wins the King of the Ring, nothing's going to stop him from going after whichever world title he wants to go for.
And
So,
That's what Michael Turner says. Will Gunther turn King of the Ring into a title match?
and that's where I think he becomes Cody's next opponent.
What's up, T? Well,
You
I'm
know,
set. Well, if they do that, why can't they use that King of the Ring like on
a stepping stone.
I was gonna say option C, but that doesn't make any sense. He could have used the that he could have done that when he had the IC strap. He could have done that
Well,
for us.
except I don't think he's going to go after Damian Priest's title. I think he's going to go after Cody.
But
And if
yeah, they already teased that. Yeah,
and the idea of him winning the King of the Ring to me kind of gives him the option of going from one show to the other. Now, granted, I don't know if they do that because that would also mean maybe possibly moving Ludwig Kaiser over to SmackDown as well. And then I think you're moving too many talents at one time.
well, no, that might make it because we've already discussed this. Tiffany's on SmackDown, so they like to try to keep
Oh, look at you.
couples together.
Look at you actually throwing that back out there. Yes, you're absolutely right. They've obviously been in a 2+ year relationship. Um, and it very well could be the way that they finally put the two of them together on the same show. I don't know. So
No, she's out. I was gonna say, well, unless she wins, but I forgot she's out.
yeah, she's out. She lost to Bianca. In a hell of a match, by the way. But I don't know. Obviously, there's an hour left in Raw tonight. I haven't watched any of it yet. So, but Friday night is in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Saturday during the day is obviously in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia.
And then apparently, Double or Nothing, or whatever the AEW pay per view is Sunday.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Oh, wow. So the Darby Allin in the pink jacket Like he's one of the pink ladies now from Greece, apparently. I I don't even know what's going on with AEW right now, man. Like, I know that FTR, Bryan Danielson, and Darby Allin are going against the Elite,
The Elite, yeah.
and I don't need to watch it. Is kind of how I feel, because one, that match, the way that it's set up with Bryan Danielson being in that main event of a pay-per-view, means he's going to lose.
Why?
When was the last time he won a pay-per-view match?
Right. So you think it's time?
No. I think that you can't have the Elite lose a match like that yet. Like it would be a complete cooler, and they need to heat them up.
Unless Kenny Omega comes. I mean, it depends on how they lose.
Well, Kenny can't wrestle right now.
Well, an example. That's what I'm saying. Unless something comes in and causes them to lose.
Sure.
To whatever his name is, Rainmaker might get hit by accident and get pissed off. You know what I'm saying? So anything can happen to that.
I just don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I think that after the Sting loss for the Young Bucks, they've got to be on like a streak. And I just don't care enough about them to want to see a streak from them. So I just don't have enough interest in their programming right now, unfortunately. Cameron would approve the pink. Okay, Mr. Helios. Look at you bouncing back and forth between two different sites, laying down the comments. Tino, anything else you got, man?
Like I said, I'm this week, gentlemen, and ladies and gentlemen, my mom was elsewhere, so I didn't really get to watch a whole lot of wrestling last week. So I really can't add much to this discussion tonight.
Catch up on any TV shows recently?
Now, like I said, I was with her, and then catching up on work. So now I'll get back to normal this week, hopefully.
So I'm gonna point out that all the Law and Order had their from what they said. I didn't think that they only did 13 episodes for each, but apparently they all had their season finales, which kind of surprised me. But Tino, a show you and I both like on Paramount is coming back, and coming back sooner than you might think. Evil.
Okay.
Final season of Evil.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's in the next 2 weeks.
All right.
The Boys comes back June 13th. So we got that to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think. Oh, I watched Madam Web, the Spider-Man spinoff.
I haven't watched that yet. And I know everybody shits on it, but I'm of the opinion I want to watch it and give it my own. I don't care what other people think, because sometimes people don't like it. I'm like, I think it's pretty good. So I'm gonna reserve. I'm just gonna wait and see. But what did you think of it?
I watched it.
Did you like it?
I enjoyed like the first half of it, and then I felt like it shit the bed the rest of the way.
Okay.
like really shit the bed the rest of the way. The guy Adam Scott, who's been on like Parks and Rec and a bunch of movies and TV shows, you'd recognize him if you saw him. Plays a very recognizable character from the Spider-Man mythos.
Okay.
And that's like my favorite part of the movie, is not anything to do with the actual movie, but who he played and the little pieces they tossed in from that.
All right, I'll check it out on the win. Sometime this week I'll check it out, because I do want to watch that.
It's on Netflix. So as long as you have Netflix, it's free.
Hey, so Terrence is here now. I think play the intro for Terrence one time because he didn't see it.
Oh, Terrence, you didn't get to see this. So since Tino said play it again, we're gonna play.
We're not gonna tell him what it is. Just let him watch it. See
We're,
what it is.
we're gonna play it for the third time. Here you go. Listen closely.
Gentlemen, you are watching the Potsy and Tino show.
I swear that's my favorite part of the day. Oh, Michael. Thanks, Michael. But Michael, stick around. We want you to see the exit because we got another one for you.
Yeah,
So don't
yeah.
go anywhere yet, Michael.
There's another one. It's a little bit harder to hear. I haven't played with the audio to try to improve the audio on it yet. But yeah, you guys might like it.
So Michael's gonna stick around and watch it.
Well, they all should.
Well, I think Michael. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty much tapped out. I was trying to think of what else I watched. X-Men 97 last week was the season finale of season 1 of it. I know that Mr. Helios watched it. He's got a lot of theories, a lot of ideas. Tino's saying I haven't seen it yet, so you get one more week, sir. You get one more week.
No, dude. I get it. I get a gimme, dude. I hadn't watched any TV in a week.
It's a cartoon. It's got 20-minute episodes. You can watch it during work.
Yes. No, I can't. Apparently, you haven't been at work long enough to realize you cannot. So, that's right. And I have, between going there and still having family obligations. No, I have not had a chance to watch much TV. So,
well, anyways, yeah, I got nothing else, man.
I don't either.
I am flat out exhausted after being up since 3:00 in the morning. So.
Dude, I don't have, like I said, I slept a little bit. Like I said, when you saw me, I think I had last night when we were out there, I think I probably had all weekend like 5 hours sleep. So,
I mean, yesterday I think I got 3. So, and that's if I'm lucky. Anyways,
so folks, thank you for watching the show. Thank you for sticking around, and this last one, you'll be thanked again. I think that's why we're gonna use it for the outro because I had a special message at the end of that one too.
Okay, so of course, give a like and subscribe to this channel.
Buy our shit.
But buy our shit. We obviously have new shirts. If you pay attention to the new merch available thing at the bottom here.
Thanks, Adam's House Cat, for giving us the wrestling song, our theme song, like they do every week. You get it on iTunes for 99 cents, 99. Make sure you buy their shit too.
Yeah, buy their shit too. And of course, like the Twitch channel, Rob Potsy Pochak, the Twitter channel or X channel, Pochak, the TikTok, Rob Potsy Pochak, and of course, the Facebook channel for the two of us, the Potsy and Tino show. So facebook.com/Potsy and Tino. And he's SE Tino on Instagram. He's HootieFan91 on the X. And what's your music one?
Tino Gray Music.
Tino Gray Music on
the TikTok.
On the Tiki Talk. So, folks, thank you so much. Always a pleasure. July 6th and 7th, DPW is in Raleigh 2 nights. But before that, we're going to send you out of here with our friends, the Motor
Shitty Machines.
Here we go. Good night, everybody.
Ready? Motor City Machines and Potsy and Tino.
For the Potsy and Tino show.
Thanks for watching.